Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, free site, dwyervip.com, free site. Today is May the 2nd, 2018. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Yesterday we hit on the point spread with New Orleans over Golden State, right? New Orleans covered a double-digit point spread in that game. But we lost on the Cavaliers' victory over the Toronto Raptors, right? Now, I still believe Toronto is going to win that series. I believe the Cavaliers' victory in Game 1 in Toronto opens the door for some bets. Now, if you followed our advice, you already have a taste of Boston at plus 1,400. Plus 1,400. To win the Eastern Conference. Now, because Cleveland won yesterday, and because the 76ers lost Game 1 against Boston, you're getting a huge bargain on both Toronto and Philly to win the Eastern Conference, right? Given that you already have a plus 1,400 on Boston, my suggested play here today, and again, it's May the 2nd, 2018. This is fluid. As the odds change, new opportunities are going to emerge. But the bet I'm recommending today is that you take Philadelphia at plus 200. Right? Let's remember, in Philly's last 20 games, they've only lost twice. Right? Philadelphia at plus 200 to win the Eastern Conference. Again, we're not talking about the finals, just the Eastern Conference. And you should take the Toronto Raptors at plus 210 to win the Eastern Conference. Now, oddly enough, even though Cleveland's going off at shorter odds and Philly's going off at shorter odds, I like Toronto to win the East. At least I expect them to. But if you're going to give me far better than even money odds on the Philadelphia 76ers, given that we already have a 14-1 play on the Boston Celtics, and given that I do not believe, even with last night's win, that Cleveland comes out of the East, then I think this is an excellent opportunity at plus 200 and higher to get the three other remaining teams in the Eastern Conference other than Cleveland, the current favorite, right? Just understand Cleveland, and I know they came back in the fourth quarter, and I know they took the game in overtime by a point, but Cleveland just doesn't have the depth. Kevin Love looked terrible yesterday, terrible on defense. J.R. Smith is hit and miss. He hit some threes yesterday. There are going to be days when he misses those threes. Right? The team is too heavily reliant on LeBron James. LeBron James is a wrecking ball, but he's one man. And as this series goes forward, even Superman is going to get tired. Right? Let me also say this too. Understand what's riding on Game 2 in the Philly-Boston series. Right? Philly has to win that game to stay competitive, folks. They're not going to beat a very tough defensive team like Boston in 4 of 5 games if they go down 0-2. Not only that, even the 4 of 5 game scenario would have them having to win the series on Boston's home court. Right? Let's just think it through. So, if you believe Philly has a shot in the series, you need to take Philly on a money line in Game 2 of their series against Boston, because if Boston wins that game, in my opinion, that series is over. Also, keep a big eye on Jaylen Brown. He's coming back from injury. Right? How good is Jaylen Brown going to be? How healed is he? Right? If he looks like Steph Curry looked yesterday coming off injury, then Philly's going to be in really bad shape. Because, again, understand, Boston beat Philly in Game 1 without Jaylen Brown. Right? Food for thought. Finally, let me close by talking about Terry Rozier. Now, people need to understand that this guy was big in Ohio in high school. Right? The Shaker Heights area. This guy, superstar in high school. He ends up at Louisville. Right? Think about it. You have to be big time to end up a Louisville Cardinal. Now, the thing that Terry Rozier brings to the table is three-point shooting range. Right? The guy's three-point shooting is vastly improved. But more importantly, he brings something that doesn't really hit the stat sheet. Terry Rozier hardly ever turns over the basketball. Hardly ever. Now, I know when people look at the numbers, they're going to see that Kyrie Irving averages more assists a game. Kyrie Irving hits more free throws, is a more accurate shooter, right? Scores more per game. But understand, Boston, with Kyrie at the point, is a qualitatively different team than with Terry Rozier at the point. Right? Terry is bringing the scoring out of more guys. I'm not kidding when I say that Boston's bench is better than advertised. Rozier was on the bench. He's now in the starting lineup because Kyrie Irving is hurt. Terry Rozier is a superstar in the making. I'm not saying every game is going to be like Game 1. I'm not saying that. But y'all heard me here online talking about Rozier before that Game 1. Right? I'm just telling you that when you have a point guard with range who doesn't turn over the basketball, doesn't lose his head, with the penetration skills of Rozier, you're dealing with dynamite. I actually think the Boston Celtics are going to have a very tough decision to make monetarily soon. Kyrie Irving's going to be up for a new contract, and the question in this NBA is, do I pay Kyrie Irving $40 million? Or do I pay Terry Rozier 15 to 20? Leaving me with $25 million, let's say $20 to $25 million to invest in other talent. Right? In any event, enjoy Boston. They're better than advertised. They're going to give Philly a run for the money. I agree. Ben Simmons should win the Rookie of the Year. I agree. Simmons and Embiid are two of the very best in basketball at their positions. Right? But let me also say this. Right? Al Horford is one of basketball's most nightmarish matchups. Right? Horford's a guy, a center, with three-point range. He could actually play back to the basket 8 feet from the basket. Right? Let's just say that Brad Stevens has a defensive scheme that's going to have the other team's offensive weapons hopelessly out of position. Right? You'll notice Joel Embiid frequently is very far away from the basket. He's caught in limbo. Right? Let me also say, too, that Philly has certain holes that an excellent coach can exploit. Ben Simmons is a work in progress with regard to both free throws and outside shots. Once you know that, you could put Simmons, who's hard to hide as a 6'10" point guard, on the free throw line late in games. Right? So, let's just say I hope you got a taste of the plus 1,400 on Boston earlier. In this video, I'm recommending that you get a taste of Philly and Toronto at greater than 2 to 1. Right? Philly's a plus 200. Toronto's a plus 210. Right? Greater than, well, 2 to 1 and up. I don't believe you're going to get these odds for much longer, especially since I expect Toronto to win Game 2 over Cleveland, right? And I do expect Philly to win Game 2 over Boston. Let's see how it goes. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.